Link to Hope started in 1991, so if any of you are really good at maths, you'll realise that next year it's our 30th anniversary of existing. We did used to be called Link Romania when we only worked in Romania, but now we work in Ukraine, Moldova and Bulgaria as well, and that's why we named ourselves Link to Hope. So what are we talking about today? Well, I've been asked to talk about the family and elderly shoebox appeal that we're going to be running this year. So when did that start? It started in 1991 when the people of Worthing packed 300 shoeboxes and sent them out by truck to Romania. Since then, through the amazing support of churches, schools, organisations, individuals, businesses, we averagely send out around 40,000 family and elderly shoeboxes to Eastern Europe. So people sometimes ask me, why do you still send shoeboxes? Surely there's no need to send shoeboxes out anymore. Another question would be, why do we even bother to help others anyway? We're okay in this country, we have everything. Surely that they can just survive. Well, let me just give you some statistics averagely to work out or to look at how well off we really are. 1% of the world's richest people have twice as much wealth as the other 6.9 billion people in this world. 10,000 people a day die because they don't have basic health care. They don't have doctor surgery around the corner. They don't even have a hospital anywhere near them. Nobody medically trained. If something happens, stroke, heart attack, breaking your leg, anything like that, you don't stand a chance. 1 in 5 children in this world do not receive any education at all. And of course, the vast majority of those are girls, as people still value in some countries male education over female education. And the other last thing to leave you with is almost half of humanity lives on less than $5 a day. If you think, even in a really, really poor country, it would be virtually impossible to live on $5 a day. If you think about rent and clothing and education and healthcare and all the other things you need to survive, just virtually impossible. So we have to realise, and I'm sure many of us do, how wealthy we are in this country and how really we should give to be able to try to spread that wealth out in any way we can, whether we give of our time or our talents or our finances, or we pray, or whatever we do. But we should always remember that we could be them. Nobody decided where they should be born. We were the fortunate ones to be born here. People born in other countries, not so fortunate. Should just be part of our basic humanity to want to help others. So now I'm going to talk about why we do shoeboxes. On one side, it's just a shoebox full of lovely gifts, and it makes people happy. And we always identify the poorest and most marginalised people to give them out to. And when we do, it's always wonderful because people don't understand why they're being given a gift, and in a lot of cases they've never had a gift before. So they're like, why are you giving me this gift? And we can say that it's because people in other countries love you and want to let you know that they love you. And from that, because it's a no strings attached, and believe me, there are no strings attached when we give shoeboxes out. Some of them ask more questions. Some of them we can make relationships with. We are fortunate we can make relationships with the mayors or the community leaders. If we come back year after year, they begin to trust us and realise that we actually genuinely want to help them. You're then able to suggest things like helping their elderly, perhaps doing a canteen or a soup kitchen, perhaps a kindergarten for the children to help them with their education. Perhaps we should help the parents in how to look after their children. Perhaps we should look after other needs, house rebuilding, to stop roofs from leaking. And after all these years, we now have 22 projects in 4 different countries in education or social care, which we're obviously very, very proud of. But they all came out of Shoeboxes. The most recent example we've had is coming across a lady with 4 children, and the 4 children are running around the yard with no clothes on. And our project manager asked the lady, you know, why do the children have no clothes on? And she said she genuinely cannot afford the laundry, the detergent in order to clean their clothes. So she thought the better option was just to let them run around with no clothes on. Now, that obviously would lead to all sorts of problems. So our project manager has approached us and asked us to purchase some washing machines for the community centre that we've had built. And they want to invite young mothers, they want to invite the elderly to come and wash their bedding, they want to invite people to come in and for us to pay for the detergent and us to pay for the washing machines, so that these people just don't have to, and they just don't have to make heartbreaking decisions about what to do with the very little money that they have. So that's going on. So that's just one simple example. We have a washing machine, I'm sure, in all of our houses. It's just automatic to go and do the washing. But if you don't have a washing machine, it must be incredibly difficult. So that's just one example of having established a relationship within that village. We've been able to help buy these washing machines. It's really important, Shoeboxes, and we really, really appreciate all the support that we get on that. So our next question really is, how do we pack a shoebox? Hi, I'm going to show you how to pack a family or elderly shoebox for your Link to Hope Shoebox Appeal. I've chosen a medium-sized shoebox. It's about 18 by 10 by 30. What we ask you to do is try to keep to that size as much as you can. When we're given big boot boxes and we have to give them out, it's very, very difficult. Very generous of people, but when you have 2 families and there's a small shoebox and a large shoebox, very difficult to choose between. Let me talk about some of the items in your shoebox. We ask for gloves and hats or scarf, so not necessarily all 3. I would suggest you contact a knit and natter group who are always keen to knit for you, so you don't have to go and spend a lot of money, or go and get to a local charity shop, get a good pair of gloves, and that's your woolly items. If we look at toiletries, you can put liquids in your shoebox, whether that be family or elderly. Today, I'm doing a shoebox suitable for a family. All we would ask is, if you are going to put liquid, you put sellotape across the top to stop it leaking. We also have suggesting flannel and soap to try to reduce our carbon footprint rather than sending more plastic bottles. And of course, toothpaste and toothbrushes. So moving on, whether you're doing a family or an elderly shoebox, everybody loves sweets. And you can also put in chocolates into a family or elderly shoebox for Link to Hope. Lovely to put a gift in for a mum or a grandmother. So it can either be a headscarf, or it can be an apron, or it can be hair accessories, or it can be new makeup. Dads as well. Always quite difficult to buy for dads, but DIY tools, razors, combs, belts, other sorts of items, ties you think would be great for the dad of the household. See here we have a candle. The reason we have asked for a candle and holders is to prevent any sort of house fire. Unfortunately, if candles aren't stable, they can tip, and in previous years that has been an issue. So when we say candle and holder, it doesn't have to be this sort of candle, but as long as you put a little glass holder, if you're going to use a tea light, that would be perfect. And cuddly toys. Again, please don't go and buy one. The world is awash with cuddly toys. As long as it has a CE mark on its bottom, then it will be absolutely fine. Just make sure it's very washed, very brushed, and it's going to go and be sent to somebody who will love it. And we now come to the games. Obviously these can be used by all the family. Here we have silly string, we have magnetic Ludo, we have a really in a very good state. We have one of these. And we have something like marbles, again, can be played by all ages. And leading now on to stationery items, we have a pad, we have some pencils to go with that. We have something a bit more fun, we have glitter pens, and then we have a little colouring book. And then to help people, particularly at school, we have a calculator, which hopefully will contribute to them being able to access and stay in their education. So these are all the items that we would suggest you put in a family shoebox, but you can of course use your own imagination. So we've decided today to do a family shoebox. So we tick a family here. If you decided to do an elderly shoebox, you would have ticked here. So in all our shoeboxes, we like to see gloves and scarf or hat. So we put gloves and a hat in. We put sweets in, so we're ticking that. Soap and flannel, toothpaste and toothbrush, candles and holders, and small games. This in the blue box is the core of your shoebox. Then of course we've added other items. We put in a colouring pad, we put in crayons and pencils, small toys, soft toy, tape measure, headscarf. We put in shampoo, solar powered calculator, safety razors, and some combs. Here is a section for you to write other items that you want to put in your shoebox. We just want to draw your attention to this area. Please remember not to put in any food, medicines, books, tea, coffee, or any out-of-date items. No sanitary items or underwear, as we do have to follow strict custom regulations. And sellotape it around the yellow lines, nowhere else, just the yellow lines. Then what we ask you to do is turn it over, take it down here and here. If you're a taxpayer or pay tax on your pension, then please fill your name, address, email here and put how much your donation is for sending the shoebox. So it's not the amount the shoebox cost you, it's the amount we're donating. This is £3. Or whichever you choose. To make it easier, we'll choose the £2. And then what we do is we put £3 in here and we tick gift aid box and we sign it so that we're able to claim money back on this £3 from the government. So here is your completed shoebox. We just want to thank you so much for taking part and contributing to the Shoebox Appeal. We know that the people in Eastern Europe who these get sent to, it's a magical gift for them. They really, really appreciate it. So please order leaflets from our website, and you can get posters there too, as well as being able to see the Shoebox Appeal DVD, which is about 3.5 minutes that we filmed in Eastern Europe, giving out the shoeboxes. So thank you so much. Please know that every box you send is going to be sent with love and received with absolute gratitude. So thank you very much.